In this box, I hold some sort of experimental Quest controllers, something. It'll be a while before these are actually released to the public, so we get to check them out ahead of time, but right now we're recording probably a while before you're gonna see it. Let's find out what it is. Always have that small, sharp unboxing knife, gotta be safe. Oh, well, they taped it and they glued it. Backbone Pro. Okay. Well, when they said Quest controllers, I was imagining like replacing the Quest controllers, not basically some sort of phone holder controller. So it says it works with Android. It does not mention the Quest anywhere on it. This is basically, I mean, I have one like this. I have a Razer one that I used literally to play Grand Theft Auto Remastered on my Google Pixel phone when I was on flights. Interesting. I guess we're bringing an entire controller to the Quest. And it comes with a carrying case. Now this will be kind of weird because, I don't know, the Razer one I got, it drops down really small, so you don't really need a case, you just kind of throw it in a backpack or something. I didn't realize that this one was gonna be like, it's weird that this is like Quest specific, because just seems like a phone thing. But I guess maybe you play your phone games now with this controller and then see them inside the headset, in theory. It's a USB-C for Android phones and iPhone 15 and above. And yeah, that's as small as it condenses down. I gotta say though, first thing, compared to my cheap Razer one in hand, this does feel really solid. Like this feels like a good controller. Opens up to accommodate hopefully any size phone. This is so random. It does show on the side here, one little generic VR headset. It honestly looks like one you shove your phone inside of, but your phone would be in here. Maybe this is for Microsoft Game Pass. Maybe you don't have to plug it. I don't know. I'm so curious now because typically the way these work is these don't even have batteries and they have to be plugged into something to work with a battery. Backbone Pro adapters. Ooh, this is such a realm I am not used to. Okay, well, this was the last thing I expected, honestly, to be in here. It's got all your typical buttons and pads and everything you'd expect. You got 2 thumbsticks, they click in. You got L1, R1, L2, R2. You also have bumpers in the back, like the pro gamers use. It does look like it's got the same buttons Quest controllers have, kind of. Okay, weird. Weird. I am going to take this away for a while and go play some phone games. I don't know. I mean, I guess we gotta see how this is supposed to work with the Quest, what you use it for. We gotta find all that out. Like I said, it's an experimental and early stage right now, but this is just so weird. Here's the case. Seems way too premium for what this is, but it even holds it in. Wow. And then it's safe. I'll report back in a while with what the heck this is meant to do with the Quest of all things, so we'll be back. Backbone Pro with case, 170, 30. So this is $200 worth of stuff we're talking about right here. Now, we're focusing on the Quest and why this is meant for the Quest, or if it's meant for the Quest and whatever. We'll talk a little bit about how it compares just for mobile gaming and the one I'm used to for that, but ultimately it does pair up to your Quest through Bluetooth. It has a battery that it promises to be like 40 hours inside of it. You can plug headphones into the controller, which doesn't really make sense because if you're gonna use headphones, you'd be plugging them in here. And it works. I played a whole bunch of Thumper with it. I tried some of the other stuff, but when I say it works with the games. If you're in the Quest menu, it lets you sort of navigate it a little bit. Some menus will let you scroll, some menus will let you click, but ultimately, overall, what the whole thing feels like is it feels like you need to be sitting here with your headset on and a controller right next to you, and then the Backbone. Which, even just that kind of kills it for me a little bit, because it was like, I'm playing Thumper, it's a pretty chill game, you're sitting in place, you're looking forward, it's a rhythm-based game, and once in a while, my play space would get just a little messed up to where I needed to recalibrate the whole thing. I had to reach over and grab this and hold down the meta button to do that, because none of these buttons ever became the meta button. This button seemed to sometimes act as the menu button from your left controller, but ultimately it felt like you had a gamepad that is compatible with Quest, but was not designed for the Quest. And it costs $170. I'm trying to think of a use where you'd really need one of these. Like if you were really someone who did a lot of Xbox Game Pass, maybe you play a lot of PUBG Mobile on your phone and you want to have a controller for that, and you were already looking at the Backbone at $170, maybe it makes sense to buy buy it for PUBG or for playing other mobile games or travel, maybe it makes sense to pay for that and know, hey, there's a little benefit that it's also gonna work for your Quest on occasion if you have the right game you're playing with it. But ultimately, at $170 for this, would you buy this just for your Quest? Absolutely not. There's other game pads that do just as much or more. People complain too a lot about this controller for several reasons. One, this is the Pro, yet they still use potentiometer joysticks in it and not the newer, more fancy Hall effect ones. People say at $170 they kind of expected that. If you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about right now, Hall effect controllers, the joysticks work off magnets and sensors that can tell where those magnets are moving when you move the joystick, and that's how the whole thing works, meaning they'll never wear out. There's no rubbing, there's no action of anything actually moving. It's only magnets and sensors. Or traditional, more common potentiometer ones, it's a rubbing. It's a motion of two things moving, which means you're prone to it wearing out over time. You're more prone to stick drift, especially if dirt and muck gets in there and is touching those sensors. So Hall effect are kind of the new fancy joysticks that people are preferring and everything because they'll last longer. And so people were pretty shocked at 170 bucks this didn't have them. People complain about the ergonomics too. I saw somebody said it feels like holding two eggs, and I feel like it's really accurate to how these feel. It kind of feels like you have an egg in each hand and you're holding it, whether you have a phone in there or whether it's just your controller like this when you're playing on the Quest. It does kind of feel like that. I wouldn't say it's terribly unergonomic, but it doesn't feel like great either. It doesn't feel like when you grab that just right controller that fits your hands. And even when I went back and tried my little crappy, I think this was 60 bucks for this Razer one, I felt like the ergonomics of this were better, surprisingly, because this thing is so cheap. And I mean, that's not cheap, honestly, in my mind for this. This is basically a piece of plastic. At least this has Bluetooth and a battery in it and stuff to kind of justify the higher price, but I didn't realize, because I don't really do a lot of this mobile gaming with controllers, the world of these controllers is so much more expensive than you would think it would be. I look at this, and if it didn't have the name Razer on it, I feel like you could probably find something like this for 20 bucks. So yes, it works with the Quest. It works through Bluetooth. Some people like to wire it up, but I didn't feel any noticeable latency, at least compared to the normal Quest controllers you're used to. You can play some flat games. You can play Xbox Game Pass, or like me, I was playing Thumper, which is a VR game, and it's one that typically when you're playing with the Quest, you're just sitting there with the controller in each hand. But to me, that's still a little bit more ergonomic because like I can have my hands at my sides, I can have them in armrest. I'm not like locked into this position. And at one point I finally opened it up and sat there and kept playing in VR, but I noticed that I had to like hold it open the whole time because it was trying to pull itself shut. It was fine. It was an okay experience. So ultimately, if you were thinking about getting a Backbone Pro, you've researched it, you like it for some reason at that price point, and you already want it for your phone, get it for your phone, and then it's gonna work with your Quest. Otherwise, if you really just want a controller for your Quest, there's tons of options out there that'll work. You might even have some in your house that already work and you don't need to go buy one. If you came to this video because you're wondering about Backbone versus all the other options out there, I think I would say look at a lot of options, because at the high price, and mostly the reason I got mine was for travel, look at how small this thing compacts down. When you think about dropping your phone and something into a backpack when you're traveling, this is pretty easy. This is so much space. And it's to keep this thing safe, which might be valuable because I read a lot of reviews on the original Backbone of people saying that the ribbon inside was kind of prone to damage in here, and then the left half wouldn't work anymore anyways. That is the one, not the Pro, which this is the new Pro, so hopefully that issue's fixed. But ultimately, if you're thinking you really want to keep it safe and stored, this is a lot of real estate to give up if you're just someone like me who usually only takes a carry-on or even sometimes only a backpack, where this, not much. But what do you think? Did you get the Backbone Pro just for your Quest? I doubt anyone did, but if you did, I'd love to hear about it in the comments and why, and if it's working well for you. Or is there one you got specifically that works better? Does it have the joysticks that you want to have? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you somehow found this and you're not into VR at all, you just came for these, I'd love to hear from you too, because wild that you found your way here, but welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you in another reality.